Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today is part 2 of my Blu-ray horror collection. And before I get going with part 2, I just wanted to address some questions I had. People were asking where certain titles were, things like this one, Blood and Black Lace, which is an Arrow video title, Children of the Corn, Censor, things like that. Now, those are split out over different parts of my collection, so they would be in the Arrow section, maybe Kino Lorber, there's some Vinegar Syndrome, Warner Archives, things like that, boutique label, Second Sight, which we are going to get to after I finish these. These are pretty much the standard Blu-ray. That's where I figured we would start, and then I am going to get to all those. You'll see pretty much, probably everything you're asking for will be in the collection, so they're just in different parts, but they are here. I'm not just omitting things, so just hang in there and we will get to it. But I'm just going to cut away and we're going to get started with part 2. Okay, so here we are continuing part 2. I have one D title, some E's, and off we go. The first one is Dead and Buried. This is a fun one. Check out that cover. It's a cool movie. I enjoyed it. The Exorcist Digibook. Then we have The Exorcist 4K. This is the UK slipcover, which I much prefer to this one, the lovely US slipcover. Now, don't get me wrong, the transfer looks incredible. It's the best I think we'll ever see The Exorcist look. It's amazing. You can't believe it's a 50-year-old film. It looks fantastic. This is a Blu-ray of The Exorcist with the lenticular eyes there. Not much going on. The Exorcist Blu-ray Steelbook, which I really like, so I held on to that one. And then the new 4K Exorcist Steelbook, which I was so excited to be able to get a copy of that. It was tough to come by. Exorcist 2, The Heretic. This was a first-time watch for me, believe it or not. I hadn't seen it before. It's not bad. It's not a bad follow-up. It's a few years later, and Reagan is having some like post-traumatic stress from what she went through. The only thing that bothered me is that they do some flashbacks to the original, and you can tell that they're not using Linda Blair. Like, you can tell it's not clips from the actual movie. I don't know if it was a rights thing or what, but it really kind of took me out of the moment. But otherwise, not a bad sequel. It's not terrible. Next one is Exorcist 3. This is the 4K edition, and I really enjoyed this one. I think it's, I like this one more than 2. Universal Terror, this is Boris Karloff collection. Night Key, The Climax, and The Black Castle. And also Karloff and Maniacal Mayhem, The Invisible Ray, Black Friday, and The Strange Door. The Victors, this is a fun one. Eden Lake, tough watch, but it's a good movie. Couple goes out camping in the woods, and they are terrorized by these just sadistic kids, and what an ending on that one. Excision, little weird. Got to be ready for that one. Not for everyone. The Exorcism of Emily Rose, it's okay. Extremity, I haven't watched this one in a while. I don't have much to say on it. The Editor, this was fun. Elizabeth Harvest, this one kind of reminded me of like a watered down Ex Machina, if you will. Kind of saw the twist coming. Not a bad movie, just it's been done and done better with Ex Machina, but not terrible. Fear No Evil. And then we get into the Friday the 13th collection, which I have done in, that was in my last video, so I will link that up in the corner, and we're going to move on to the rest of the Fs. Okay, continuing on, we have From Beyond, Faust, Fright, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which also just got a 4K release from Arrow, which you'll see in the Arrow collection. The Funhouse, this is a fun one. A bunch of kids go in and they try to stay after hours when the Funhouse is closed, and they find out they might not be alone in there. Funhouse Massacre, that's a lot of fun. Here's some Final Destinations. I have 1, 2, 3, and I'm not sure where 4 is, but there's 5. I think I have a little box set coming up. I'm not sure. Then we have the Fog Steelbook from Scream Factory, the Fog 4K. I love the Fog. I think it's a great movie. The Fog 4K Steelbook. It's a great Steelbook. Fright Night. Great movie. The Fright Night Steelbook. The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Friend Request. Not a bad movie. Not terrible. Here's a good one. This is Denzel Washington and John Goodman in The Fallen. This is a really good, like a supernatural thriller. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's either from the late 80s or the 90s. You can still get it on Amazon, and I believe it's really inexpensive, but definitely check this one out. It's fun. Freaky. Now, this is the Blu-ray slipcover, but I have the 4K in there. This was a lot of fun. Feast. Frozen. This is a lot of fun. A group of friends they go skiing for the day, and they kind of bribe the guy running the chairlift to give them one extra run before they close out for the day, and they forget that they are up there, and they close down for the weekend, and they are closed until the following week. So they are trapped in ice cold weather, like a blizzard conditions, wolves running around, and they are stuck up on this chairlift where they're going to die if they stay up there, and they're possibly going to die if they get down. But really, really good. It's much better than I thought it was going to be. Frailty. Another good thriller that everybody keeps saying is underrated, but since we're all talking about it and we're all watching it, I don't think it's underrated anymore. I think it was underrated, but I think it's really caught on, and it's a very, very good movie. So if you haven't seen Frailty, definitely check it out. The Final Girls, it's a fun one. Full Chief or Fake, that's a good documentary. Frankenhooker, always fun. Firestarter with a very young Drew Barrymore. Here they are. The 4 Final Destinations. From Hell Steelbook. The Faculty, that's a lot of fun. Great movie. Frankenstein. Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. And From a Whisper to a Scream. And we're going to move right on to the next shelf. Okay, moving on to the G's. Ghost Stories. I thought this one was a lot of fun, I thought. It was a good anthology. And I like the wraparound story. Ghost Town. These just came in from MVD. The 4K of Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. And this is the Blu-ray, but they are releasing the 4K, or they just did. Gravy. Gretel and Hansel, which was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Goodnight Mommy. This is a German thriller. You have 2 twin boys. Their mom has had plastic surgery and her face is still wrapped up, and she's doing weird things, and they do not believe it's really their mother. So it's pretty interesting. It's a little slow, but it's a good one. Green Room with Anton Yelchin. This is a really good one. Patrick Stewart is amazing in this. Ghost of Mars. Ginger Snaps. I believe this is it's the trilogy. So that's the trilogy. Of course, I have the trilogy from Second Sight coming. So, Ghost Ship, probably one of the most wild openings in a movie I've seen in a long time. The Girl with All the Gifts. This is a really cool, kind of like a zombie movie, but it's different. It's very good. Galaxy of Horrors. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on 4K. I just grabbed this one. Grateful Dead. Ghost Story. Get Out, which is a great one. Grindhouse. Another Planet Terror and Death Proof. Grindhouse. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. The Guest, which I would say is more of a thriller. I put it in horror, but I would say this is more of a thriller. But it's a good one. It's interesting. Grizzly, kind of like, think Jaws, but with a bear. And Graveyard Shift. All right, moving on to the next shelf. Okay, I have a whole bunch of, like a ton of Halloween variants of Halloween, versions of Halloween. So what I decided to do is skip over them, and I'm going to do a full collection of everything I have Halloween. I'll do that towards the end of the month, either the last day, or maybe I'll do it on Halloween or the day before, kind of like what I did with my Friday the 13th collection. So we're just going to pick up with Eli Roth's History of Horror. This is Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3. The House is October Built. This is a fun found footage movie about a group of friends who are going out looking for the most extreme haunts. It's one of the better found footage movies, and I really enjoy this one. And they're going around looking for these extreme haunts, and they really piss off the wrong people, and that's all I'm going to say. History, though, The House is October Built 2, not my favorite, but not horrible. I think they could have just left it at the 1 and it would have been fine. Haunt, I've talked about before. This is a lot of fun. It's about, you know, haunts, haunted houses, things like that pop up during October, and there's a bunch of college kids at a party who get a flyer for a haunt that's nearby. They decide to go in and check it out, and it is run by maniacs. That is a lot of fun. Horror Noir, History of Black Horror. House on Sorority Row. That's always a fun one. 4K of The Howling. If I can get that back in there. High Tension. This is a really great French slasher. My suggestion, go in blind. Don't read about it. Don't watch anything on it. Don't look at reviews. It's great. Just watch it. You don't want anything ruined for you. The Hunt. My favorite of this franchise, Hatchet. The first one I think is the best. It has a great mix of some comedy and horror. Hatchet 2. Hatchet 3. And Victor Crowley must have moved to the V's for some reason. He moved out of the swamp. The Haunting. The House That Jack Built, a Lars von Trier movie. You're either going to love it or hate it. I love it. But, you know, judge for yourself. The Hills Have Eyes. I have a hardbox edition of that with my arrow titles. The Hills Run Red. Hanukkah. Sid Haig, one of his final movies. And Hagazusa, a gothic folktale. So we're moving on to the next shelf. I apologize for the awkwardness. This is a tough corner to get to, but we're moving on. Okay, I'm officially down on the floor, so we're going to see how it goes. Hammer Horror 8-film collection. Horror of Frankenstein. These are some double feature Hammer films. Never Take Candy from Strangers and Scream of Fear. The Revenge of Frankenstein and Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Maniac and Die Die My Darling. The Haunters. Hardcore Henry. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Hellraiser. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Honeymoon, which is, this is a pretty good one. It's decent. It's a decent, like, thriller type movie. Here Comes the Devil. Horns with Daniel Radcliffe. This one was surprisingly good. This one, I really did enjoy this more than I thought I would, so check that one out. Housebound. This is a lot of fun. Gal is put on house arrest, and she has to live with her parents, and her mother down there, you can see the mother, is convinced that the house is haunted, and there's some crazy things going on. Bong Joon-ho's The Host. Really fun time. 4K of Hereditary. Hereditary UK Steelbook. House of Wax. House of the Devil, which I thought was okay. A little appearance by Greta Gerwig in that one. The Hallow. The Horror Show. Happy Birthday to Me. Happy Death Day. And Happy Death Day to You. Okay, the struggle is getting real here on the floor. I have Hostel, parts 1, 2, and 3. Not crazy. Not the biggest fan of those. House on Haunted Hill. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Hell Night, which I just think is a lot of fun. Hopefully I say this right. Ganjam Haunted Asylum. Really cool found footage film. I believe it's a South Korean found footage film. These guys and gals go into an abandoned asylum to hunt for ghosts, and it's really freaking creepy. The House That Dripped Blood. The House of Wax, which I feel like we saw earlier. Maybe it's on a different shelf. Hashtag Horror. Mario Bava's Hatchet for the Honeymoon. Hell, which is a pretty cool movie where the sun is so hot that people can't even go outside because everything is just melting. Very cool, though. Hellfest, it was okay. Invaluable. This is a really cool documentary about the special effects with the Evil Dead franchise. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which jumped away from its counterpart, the Olive Films one. Triple feature. I know what you did last summer. When a Stranger Calls and Vacancy. I believe I have that one for Vacancy. It Follows. And I also have the It Follows Second Sight set, which you will see eventually. It Follows, which I just love that steelbook. I think it's such a great steelbook. I Trapped the Devil. And here's the Olive Films Invasion of the Body Snatcher. And Intruder, which is just so much fun. It's a slasher film that takes place in a grocery store. This is so much fun. The kills are fun. It's just a blast. It's a really good time. So if you get a chance, check out Intruder. Okay, that last little cubby down there is just, it's too much for me to get to. So we're going to do it this way. The Innocents, a really fun, creepy kid movie. You have a bunch of kids. They're living in a housing development. I think there's 4 of them. They're on summer vacation. And they meet up and they find out that they have special powers, which they can use for good or not so good. Then we have Ichi the Killer. I Still See You. Identity with John Cusack, Ray Liotta, and Amanda Peet. Really good, I would say a thriller. Rainy night, they all end up, all these people end up in a motel, and little by little, they find out that they have a lot of things in common, and they're really not sure why they're there, but it's all about the ending. This is so good. This is another one. If you haven't seen it, just go in blind. You'll love it. It's really good. It's one that would be perfect for anyone, even if you're not a horror fan. I Saw the Devil. I believe this is a South Korean film also. This is definitely a revenge type film. It's brutal. There's a serial killer who kills the wrong girl, and her fiance is seeking revenge, and boy, does he get it. This is a great film. Some people don't call it horror. I think it has enough horror elements and brutality that it falls right in line with what I consider horror, but it's a good one. Idle Hands, always a lot of fun. The House on Willow Street. There goes a pile of things dropping. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I don't know where this came from. I don't know. Maybe I bought it. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But it's here. Haven't seen it. Incarnate. Not sure that I've watched that one yet. And then the last one I have is I Sell the Dead. And I haven't gotten to this one, but I've heard good things, so I'm looking forward to it. And when I watch it, I will definitely report back. And moving on, we have the new Insidious 4K Steelbook. The latest Insidious installment. The Red Door. I didn't think this was as bad as some people said it was, but I definitely think this is and should be the end of the franchise. I think they've done everything they need to do with it, everything they can do with it, and I think it's time to just put it to bed. But it wasn't bad. I thought it was if it's the ending, I thought it was a very good ending to the franchise, which I am a fan. Insidious The Last Key. Insidious 3, Insidious Chapter 3. I enjoyed that one as well. I like that they keep the characters in these and that they keep the story woven together by the characters. Insidious Chapter 2, which I thought was decent. And my favorite one, of course, is the first one, Insidious. I think it's really pretty good. It's not as good as The Conjuring, but it's got the same vibe. And then we have some controversial things here. We have I Spit on Your Grave, Vengeance is Mine. These are the remakes. I Spit on Your Grave 2. I thought the remakes were better than the original, but I Spit on Your Grave unrated. And then we have the I Spit on Your Grave box set from, I think, Ronin Flicks. So that's what we have there. And now we're moving on to the next shelf that I probably can't reach. And on we go. Dario Argento's Inferno, and you are going to see a lot more Dario Argento in the collection. Like I said, they are in different places like Arrow and things like that, but Inferno, it's a good one. The Steelbook for Infinity Pool Uncut. I haven't watched this yet. Infinity Pool, little weird, but I kind of liked it, so I'm interested to see what the uncut version has to offer. I'll Take Your Dead. I believe I saw that one. I Am a Hero. This one's pretty good. It's not bad. Check it out. Read up on it. See if it's something you'd be interested in. A classic Tom Cruise interview with a vampire. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Awesome. Stephen King's It. These are going backwards because I pulled them out of the shelf. It Chapter 2, which I enjoyed. The first remake of It. The Steelbook for the first It. And the Steelbook for the original mini-series of Stephen King's It. Moving on. Inheritance. In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill, which I really do like this one. I think it's very good. It Comes at Night. Cool one from A24. And I'm going to pull this out so it's not... I'm going to go in order, even if it makes everything drop off my lap. I Know What You Did Last Summer. These 4Ks look phenomenal. Maybe not the best movies. I mean, they're okay. They're not bad. They're decent. They're fun, you know, campy, just fun. But the 4Ks are stunning for this one. And the one that we just got, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Really amazing looking 4Ks. So if you're a fan, definitely worth checking out. And this one I recently picked up, Joan Crawford. I Saw What You Did. She did some crazy, crazy movies toward the end of her career. She was willing to do horror, whatever. She did everything. So that was, looking forward to checking out that one. Christopher Lee, In Search of Dracula. And this last one, It Stains the Sands Red. And we're moving on to the J's, and you know what that means. Jaws. Okay, on we go. And yes, I do keep Jaws in with my horror. This is the first DVD of Jaws I ever acquired. It was put out the same day I had my wisdom teeth out, and I made sure I had my friend who was giving me a ride stop at Best Buy to grab me a copy of Jaws. Maybe it was even Circuit City, one of those big box stores. But anyway, we stopped and we got a copy of Jaws on DVD for the first time. So that was pretty cool. And I also have another, I believe this is a widescreen DVD of Jaws. This is the Universal 100th anniversary of Jaws. I'm going to do this one-handed, but they have these cool, like, Velcro. It's a Velcro gatefold slipcover that opens up, and it gives you facts about the movies, things that were happening in the year 1975 and all that. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool collector's piece. And this is a Target slipcover that they were putting out a couple years ago. And Kelly ran all over to every Target to find me one of these. She got to the last store and they had two and she grabbed one. But it was just another cool slipcover they put out. Of course, we have Jaws in 4K. We have the 45th anniversary of Jaws 2 in 4K. We have the Jaws 2 standard Blu-ray. Obviously, Jaws is a film that I collect for, just like Friday the 13th and Halloween. And we have Jaws, the 3-movie collection with Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws the Revenge. So I'm going to grab my Jaws steelbooks, and we will be right back. Okay, first up, we have Jaws 3. This was a Zavvi exclusive that I managed to grab before they stopped sending steelbooks to the United States. This is the new Jaws 2 4K steelbook that we just got. Love that one. Then, of course, we have the original Jaws 4K steelbook. And this is a very cool Jaws 2 lenticular set from the UK. I was able to grab this through Orbit. So I'm very happy to have this. Haven't opened it yet, but very happy to have it. And then, of course, we have the original Jaws 4K lenticular that came out last summer, and with the Amory case. But love my Jaws. Have to have it in with the horror collection. And tell me, where do you leave Jaws? Do you put Jaws in with your horror or just with the regular Blu-rays? All right, moving on. Okay, 2 more little piles, and we're out of here for today. Just Before Dawn, fun one. I really like that one. Joyride, talk about road rage gone wrong. The late Paul Walker and Steve Zahn, really good. Jennifer's Body, this one's a lot of fun. It's a good one. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. John Dies at the End, another good one. Jacob. Haven't seen this one yet, so I can't speak on it. Same thing here. Julia's Eyes. I don't think I've seen this one. I feel like I've seen it, but I don't think I have. Jack the Ripper. Kind of speaks for itself. This one's a horror pack limited edition, but it's also, I also have a Vinegar Syndrome one, Jack Frost. Not the nice one, it's the Killer Snowman, but like I said, I also have the Vinegar Syndrome one. Oh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love this steelbook. This was just a Best Buy one. Nothing special, not the Arrow one or anything like that, but I love the artwork on the front. And then, of course, I have my Arrow Special Edition Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This is one time when I do have, like Alice Sweet Alice, because it had another, like a steelbook to go with it, I put it in with the regular Blu-rays, because this is an Arrow video release, but this is so good. I love Killer Clowns, so much fun, so campy. It's one that you can put on anytime and you just laughed. The special effects are funny. They're cheesy, they're funny, but it's just a blast. You just can't go wrong with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And look what I'm sitting next to. The cotton candy gun there that everybody was looking for last year. And I think we're on a popcorn gun this year. But if you haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, come on, let's go. Get going on that one. The Kindred, one that we never thought we'd see a proper Blu-ray release for, and there it is. And finally in this stack, we have another Mario Bava, Kill Baby Kill. Moving on, last stack. Okay, last stack, and we're going to wrap this one up. And I do apologize for the wonkiness of this video. It's too hard to film down on the floor. It's crazy down there. I'm too old for that. We have Killer Party. I've seen it before. This is a fun one. Don't sleep on this one. It's a blast. Check it out. Perfect for Christmas. Krampus. Everybody loves Krampus Christmas, so check this out. It looks great in 4K. It's always fun. I, of course, have a Blu-ray of Krampus. Why, I don't know. Who knows what we do. The Killer of Dolls. Killer Nun. And you'll see as we go through the collection, anything with nuns in it, I'm there for it. Kill List. This is such a great folk horror film. So good. Again, it's another one. It's all about the ending. Just check it out. Go into it blind, watch it, be patient with it. It's a slow build, but it is so worth it. Really, really good. Let's see what we have. Some Boris Karloff. We have Bedlam, and then we have Richard Dix, The Ghost Ship. We're getting into some Boris Karloff now, obviously. Boris Karloff in The Body Snatcher. Isle of the Dead. Boris Karloff, The Man Behind the Monster. Great documentary. If you are a fan of documentaries, horror, classic horror, and especially Boris Karloff, do not sleep on this one. Definitely check it out. Pick it up. It's great. And then we're getting into the L's. We have The Loved Ones. Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions. I've always liked this one. Really good movie. Talk about underrated. That one's definitely underrated. And this is my standard Blu-ray of the Lost Boys. Of course, I did get the 4K, which we will see eventually, but love the Lost Boys. They're great, and I always go with the original. So that is up to the beginning of the L's. And again, I apologize for the wonkiness on parts of the video, but hopefully I'm going to finish up the standard Blu-rays in 1 or 2 more videos. I'm going to add some lists in this week. So what I'm going to do is I will post the videos that I'm going to be doing on the community tab this week. So be on the lookout for that in the next day or so. I have a couple lists planned. We're going to continue on with the collection series, and we're just going to keep October moving right along. So I want to thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Give me some comments, recommendations, suggestions. If you enjoy this kind of content, lists, collection tours, updates, things like that, consider subscribing. Hit the bell notification so you know when I upload again. And I'm going to be back real soon. So for today, that's a wrap.